Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Tuesday night. It's time for your favorite Alabama show on YouTube. Before we get started, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're in the live chat, well, you do your thing tonight. Let's get involved. If you're watching the replay, show us some love in the comment section down below. This is the Bama Standard. I'm your host, Justin Riley, and we are brought to you by none other than Workspace Pros. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, these are the guys that you need to coach up your team. So go ahead and jump on their website after this show and get them to help you out today. With me, as always, is a living legend, the undefeated, undisputed king of comedy, and the star of the show, the Steve Brown.
Hey, man, thank y'all for having me. I'm just happy to be the star, man, and I cannot wait to meet all of my tens upon tens of fans this Friday at the Bryant Museum. It's gonna be crazy, man. Listen, don't worry about the players that's coming. Just know that I'll be there, man. And y'all see when I come out, it's gonna be a lot of myths. It's gonna be a lot of spotlights. It's gonna be crazy. So
just for a minute, that intro, I thought you were finna say Marvin.
They're gonna bring plenty of tomatoes for Steve. Don't worry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I thought you were finna say Marvin the way you were going.
Well, I'll get to Marvin because Marvin is a legend as well. He's a 1999 All-SEC linebacker. When Ric Flair said to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man. He is that man, ladies and gentlemen, Marvin Constant.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
Nobody's coming to see you, Marvin.
Roll Tide, Marvin.
Whatever, Otis.
Here we go.
And then next to him, a two-time national champion, a two-time UFL champion, one of the baddest dudes to ever tote the rock. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Bo Scarborough.
My dude, the retired fat boy.
Nah, man. I still got them, man. Hey, Steve, you know, I'm kind of highly upset with you, bro.
We'll work through it, but there's one more person that we've got to introduce. He's kind of the heartbeat of this show.
I can't hold this back.
Steve didn't mess up your knees.
Hold on. Let's finish the intro. Go ahead.
He is a senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama magazine and the guy who keeps Paul Feinbaum gainfully employed. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen M. Smith.
I try to keep Paul all right, but Paul don't want to listen.
Lead the horse to water, right?
All right. So before you do your big intro, Bo, get it off your chest. What you got?
Man, we've been doing this show for about I've been on this show for about what, Justin, 3 years now?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, we appreciate you being here.
And Steve Brown haven't said a joke about me yet.
You know what?
He joked
doing
on
something
everybody
right.
except for me.
Hey man,
So
I got you.
I feel like you got something against me. You won't never joke on me.
Bo, I'm going to tell you, it's not about your time; it's about God's time, and we will get to that. Listen,
I got a whole lot of Bo Scarboroughs right here.
He does.
Is this my script to be in the movie?
No, just we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Well, listen, we've got an action-packed show tonight. We've got some legends here, but before we get to all that, we got to talk about our sponsor, Title Towel. Listen, the Alabama football season never truly ends. That's definitely the case this week because we have reached A-Day week, folks. Go ahead and grab your Title Towel today at whitwillsports.com. Matter of fact, we're going to do a little bit of a favor for you. If you enter in the promo code STANDARD, you get a nice little discount courtesy of your favorite show on YouTube. That's right. Enter in standard and get your Title Towel and get ready for the A-Day game. Well, listen, it's time to bring on our first guest, a legend. And there's only one person that can bring him on the right way, and that's Stephen M. Smith. Stephen M. Smith, tell the folks in the audience who we have with us tonight.
where we have an Alabama native, first and foremost, one of the first real deal athletic quarterbacks in the Alabama football program, a first team All SEC in 1983, a guy that could make you miss, a guy that had a cannon for an arm, a guy that could make all types of incredible plays. He was the guy that birthed the likes of Blake Sims, the likes of Jalen Hurts, the likes of Jalen Milroe, the likes of Tua Tagovailoa. If not for this guy right here, we do not have these other athletic quarterbacks come through the building. That means you too, Andrew's out. So we have to bring in the godfather of athletic quarterbacks in Alabama football history, Walter Godfather Quarterback Lewis.
Yeah.
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 Straight from Marion there. I like that.
I told you it'd be an intro like no other, Walter.
Great job, Stephen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Marvin ready for A-Day. He already got his edge up and he got his stuff cleaned up.
I stay that way, sir. I'm an adamant professional. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
But I also know that you love them V-necks too.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, that's cool. Well, listen, let's get right to it. We have a limited time with Walter, and we definitely want to talk about all he's experienced, and I'm sure he's got a lot of great stories to tell us, especially with Coach Bryant. I'll open us up, and then I'll toss it over to Stephen M., then Bo, then Marvin, and Steve, and then we'll kind of go back around. But one of the things I want to start out with, Walter, something kind of light. You know, one of the things I noticed about you during your playing days was your undeniable toughness. And one of the things that we talk about often with former players is the conditioning program. You know, we've talked about Coach Terry Jones with Marvin and Bo. And then when EJ Jr. was on here, he talked about Ken Donahue. And that's one of the most asked questions from fans. So can you go back and kind of talk to us about the toughness that you gained going through Coach Bryant's conditioning program?
Well, it's funny that you asked there. And, you know, back 40 years ago when I had the opportunity to come to Alabama, I knew it was going to be a challenge from a lot of different perspectives, you know, there being in the position that I was in. So my conditioning and my toughness, I guess it came from growing up with my dad. My dad was a bricklayer, mostly as a policeman during the night. And he did some other things too, but I learned hard work growing up. And I remember when I decided to go to Bama, you know, Rocky was big during that time, back in the late 70s. Mm-hmm. And there were bets in my community that I would not play quarterback there. At Bama, I get moved to defensive back or some other position and whatnot. But those were motivation factors for me in terms of how I approach the challenge, because it was a challenge, but it was a challenge that I wanted to embrace, you know, there. I didn't go there because I was going to be the first black quarterback or anything like that. Mm-hmm. When I made my visit to Bama, they put me with Johnny Elias and Robert Russell. Johnny Elias was from Columbus, Georgia. Robert Russell was from Demopolis. That's where Robert was from. And they basically told me about what it was going to be like at Alabama. And when I left there, I had a piece about going there, you know, and all the factors that were there. But when I decided to sign to go to Bama, they had already committed 5 quarterbacks. And plus they had about 10 of them already there. So those were the factors you had to deal with. But in terms of being tough, that the movie Rocky motivated me to start training because, and also things that I was hearing amongst my friends. I had friends to turn on me, you know, in terms of me going there. Some of them wanted me to go to Auburn, but I found out who was really, really in my corner when I had that. So when I decided to go to Bama, I signed my national letter of intent. The next day, I started running. I never run a mile before. at all. I ran the mile with stairs at my stadium in my high school, and I just started doing that. And then it kind of transpired, and it went all around my city. I would run around my little town, Bruton. That's where I'm from.
Bruton, Alabama.
Yeah, and I see people along the way just running. I would run 4 and 5 miles, and then after that, I go do my workout that Bama had given me. But mentally, I knew I was going to have to be a tough bug, having to play there. And I took that seriously. And so when I got to Bama, I was in outstanding shape, and compared to guys that were there already, even guys that were there during the summer months. I was in great shape, ready to deal with the heat. My cousin played for Southern Miss, and he shared with me during the spring before I went there. He said, Walt, the first thing that goes when you get into spring camp are your legs. If your legs are not in condition, you got to get in condition. And I'm just taking in the information. And he doesn't know he was a starting linebacker for Southern Miss. Man, that motivated me even more just to get in physical shape. And so mentally, when I got to Bama, I was ready for the challenge. And, and one thing that I learned from Coach Bryant, great coaches. Nick Saban, Coach Bryant, I've been fortunate to be around 2 of them. I'm talking about 2 legends that really contributed to the game. One thing about great coaches, they know the times. They know the times that you're in terms of what you're dealing with on the football field, but also the peripherals, there in terms of what you're dealing with outside of football. The what's going on in society, how is that going to impact you? How is that going to whatever? And I had to be ready. And one of the things I did was I ran a lot, and it got to a point where it was like I craved running. I craved the conditioning, with the running, with the weight, so on and so forth. So that I contribute to that to a lot of my toughness in terms of what you were able to see as a player, because I was going to have to be different. And that's the attitude that I had, to be different relative to that, to be in great shape so that I could deal with the mental aspect of the game, mental aspect of what was going on around me to be what I needed to be for the team. That was
That's what's up.
Motivated by Rocky Balboa. I like that.
Get in there, Rock.
Stephen M. Smith, I'll give you the baton to you, sir.
Walter, we've all heard the stories of, the players that would talk about Coach Saban, what he meant to them, what they meant to him, and just stories of Coach Saban motivating those guys. When you talk about Coach Bryant, what do you think, what was that confidence that he instilled in you? You already had it in yourself coming to play quarterback, but being around Coach Bryant, what was that added confidence he gave you that I'm really about to take over this position?
Coach Bryant, one of the things that he stressed to his quarterbacks, he wanted you to be arrogant in the right way. That he expressed it that way from a confidence standpoint. But one of some of the things that I learned from Coach Bryant that I think you can take in football, you can take in life, are these things. One is expect the unexpected. You'll never be surprised. I go to Bo. I'm a fan of yours. I like the way you ran the football. I really did. I wish I could have coached you. Because it would have been really, the challenge would have been to get in your head to see what's rolling around in there. To help direct and guide you. I coached Saran Stacy and Martin Houston and those guys back in '89 when I was at Alabama. I wish I would have had the opportunity to, to coach you.
Excuse me, but Walter, can you say that quote one more time? Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected, and you'll never be surprised.
You'll
never be surprised.
I love that quote.
Marvin, you played linebacker.
Yes, sir.
Quarterback's dropping back to pass, and you're thinking about the interception. You're expecting the interception. When it happens, you can react a whole lot quicker because your body is already programmed to take advantage of that opportunity. And when you're prepared like that, you're expecting stuff to happen. You're expecting fumbles. You can recover it. Those are things that you can do on a football field that helps you with your anticipation to where you're quicker to the ball or whatever. Those are important things. Those are important things that you can apply today in life, and And then the other thing is this. It's not how fast you can run. That's a part of it. But the little steps that you got to take to be able to receive the ball, the little things are things that make a player. And Coach Bryant stressed that. The little things they build to bigger things. And how you run your hole, how you run your route, you just never know when things are going to break loose. There are 4 or 5 plays in a game that determine the game. You go to every game you play, watch, whatever. There are 4 or 5 plays that are game changers. But you never know when they're going to come. Wow. And when you can anticipate, expect the unexpected, be ready for those type situations to happen. That's when the winner aspect of being a winner comes out. And those are just little things that I got from Coach Bryant, in terms of how he operated and how he expected his team to operate as a whole.
Okay.
Now, Bo, Walter was really excited about the opportunity to meet you, as you can already tell. I was watching some game film, and Walter, I don't know if you may agree with this or not, but he kind of reminded me a little bit of Ricky Moore, who played with you, as far as his running style.
Well, yes, that's a yes and no. Bo, I tell you, you were a big back. You strong upper body, strong legs. You could run. You were fast. I mean, you could catch out of the backfield. I mean, those are just ideal tools for. I mean, that's just a sculpture of a real running back. Yeah, those are skill sets that I saw when I watched you play, and it was just amazing. There in terms of what I was able to see relative to that. But Ricky Moore, I played with him. Yeah, Ricky was outstanding running back as well. He can play baseball, great athlete, brought a lot to the table, could catch out of the backfield, could do a lot of things. But Bo, you had a second gear, that was really, really outstanding, man. Really
I appreciate that, man. And honestly, how I got my name and how I got like all my offers.
Yes.
When I went to summer camps, like the rival camps, the camp that they used to have back in the day, that
sure.
they really even have them how they have them now. I used to show up at the camp as a receiver.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I wasn't a good running back coming out of the backfield doing a route. Because I practice receiver in that slot so much that, I got to get to the line of scrimmage. Then I got to make my move and get into my route and get into my depth. And, I didn't have the ability to do that at the time because I never had practiced that. Mm-hmm. So I got all my offer going to camp, playing receiver and dominating. Like I'm talking about, like when I say dominating, I mean like as Deshaun Watson. When I played on the team with Deshaun Watson, he only threw it to me because he know I was going to go get it. If he overthrew it, I was going to go get it. If we was on the 5-yard line, he used to look at me and tell me, "Hey, it coming to you," and he just used to just throw it up, and I just used to go get it and snatch it. How Julio did Kinkley in that game. That's how I used to do, guys. I'm talking about when I used to come off the line, I used to be so physical that like when I started going to like multiple camps and like other athletes starting to know who I was, when I got up there, they playing 5 to 7 yards off. They not even pressing. Like
I was the only one that was pressing you.
Be quiet, Mar.
I'd have jammed you to sleep. You wouldn't have got out of the ball.
Look. I already know what type of person you is. You physical, so I know I'm a slot receiver. I gotta be on the line. So soon as the ball snap, my first step was I was gonna step back because I know you were gonna try to jam me. So I was gonna step back and pull your arm and get my route. You know what I'm saying? Or I would have hit you with the slap and rip and then stack you and you ain't know where I'm going, then I will
Bo,
break down.
Hold on, Bo.
He's ready to take the field, isn't he?
Hold on, Bo. That sounds like something my baby mama used to do to me. So let's just get back to Walter. That sounds like I used to be abused by my baby mama.
But yeah, man.
But what question do you have for Walter, brother?
Mr. Walter, that's how I really got all my offers, and I just want to know how it feels to be in the locker room back in those days, because of the locker room now. I mean, I don't know how it is now, but I know back when I was in the locker room, it was kind of like, you know, be on your shit or get the hell out. You know what I mean? And that's how it was at Alabama. And like, you either bought into the system or you got the H on, you know, because you will be like I said this on the show before, you will be the oddball if you the one that acting out and everybody else is buying into the program, following the rules, going to class on time, you know, being in places where they supposed to be. And then you got this one or two guys that not showing up, you gonna easy stand out. So I just wanted to know, how was it in the locker room with you guys opposed to, you know, the locker room now? I know like the locker room back then used to be way tougher than it is now, because you got guys nowadays is, you know,
soft.
There you go, soft. So I just want to know how it was in the locker room when you was there.
Well, I won't say that it was just totally different, but the dynamics were different. You know, I mean, 40 years ago, in the Alabama locker room compared to where you all are now, I mean, the complexions were different. I mean, I mean that literally, and I mean that figuratively. I mean, it was just because it was a different time, you know, that you're dealing with, you know. But football's football. Yeah, it really is. I know for me as a quarterback, I every day for me in the locker room and out on the field, I did not have time to not be locked in, because it you know, I'm dealing with factors that you know, normally you wouldn't. I don't think today you would deal with. But guys, you know, getting back to the locker room thing, you know, guys expected you to get out there and perform. You know, I mean that was one of the things I had to convince players of. I mean, every quarterback has to convince a player that they can play, just like for you, Bo, you know, and Marvin, you too, Marvin. I mean, you had to get out there and perform, you know, so that you get people's attention. And I know for me being a quarterback there at Bama at the beginning, you know, I had to prove that I could play the position.
Right, because you were being evaluated every day.
Well, I was being evaluated, but at the same time, you know, I was being evaluated how I was going to play the game, but also how I was going to represent, you know, the university. I mean, because it was different. It's not like it is now. You know, it was different. I mean, there were days. I mean, you talk about stories. We don't have enough time on this. We don't have enough time on this show to you know, to just talk about some of the stories. But yeah, there are lots of stories. But there were good stories as it relates to how things panned out. There were times, you know, I didn't want to come out of the locker room to go out there on the practice field.
Wow.
You know,
I had those days too. That sun not there being in you like
it wasn't the sun. It wasn't the sun.
You missing it. Yeah.
No. It wasn't the sun. It wasn't those type factors. It was the times. It was the times. It was the times. Like I mentioned to you, great coaches understand the times.
The times.
And there were times that I was put under certain type pressures that you know, the other quarterbacks were not getting that type pressure.
Right.
You know, because, you know, when I'm out there performing, there's a different type of pressure back then, you know, that I was getting from 85,000 that Coach Bryant was accounting for in the practices. You know, and I know this for a fact because my offensive coordinator, when Coach Bryant retired, we went to dinner with all the quarterbacks. He pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, this is why this was what." You know, I had to figure out if you were going to break under us, because if you broken under us, you're going to break under 85,000. You know, so I was put under some pressure that you know, that was a little bit different. But you know what? Hey, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, because it made me a better man.
I don't mean to cut you off. I know we have a short time. I just have a quick question.
Sure.
And you know, we treated these guys like they were part of the leadership, like they were part of the scholarship team. How did y'all treat the walk-on guys? Like, how did they? How not you personally? How did guys treat the walk-on guys?
How do we treat walk-ons?
Yeah, how did they treat the walk-on?
Well, it was difficult for a walk-on. Most definitely, as a player. I mean,
as far as like players, wise, like how did the players treat the walk-on?
Well, you got to understand something though. But back then, that was before the NCAA had the 85 scholarship limit, so they had way more people on the team than the normal 85. So you had less room for walk-ons back then, but you had a lot more scholarship guys back then.
Some of the walk-ons back then, they tried to run them off.
Right.
I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about how they were treated, not not administratively, but say getting equipment. Right. You know, your equipment wasn't like the normal equipment that you would get. There would be some equipment that wasn't, you know, fit. You know, and you know, Coach Bryant wanted to find out from everybody who wanted to be out there. You know, and the ones that didn't want to be out there, you had to figure out a way to get them out of the way, because it wasn't good. You know. So yeah, you know, guys were treated differently, just to see, to a certain degree, from a walk-on perspective, who was worth being, you know, the time, you know, spent out there during that time.
Walter, I still got my walk-on gear.
I've seen some helmets similar to that, you know, not exactly like that, but
nothing. I didn't have face.
The reason why I asked that question was because we had a lot of walk-ons. Like one of the guys that I remember, man, I never forget him. His name was Bo Grant, and that was one of the guys that he came to practice every single day, gas tank on field. Do you hear me?
I understand.
Like, he did everything full speed, and I had to go against him every day.
Sure.
And I used to hate it because I'm dead tired and he killing me. But when we got to the game and then we was on special team, that guy that was lined up across from me,
right?
You didn't see him in the film.
That's what's up.
And that was all because of Bo Grant. You know what I mean? Because he was taking off so fast and I had to react to him. And now that I'm watching that guy and I'm thinking in my head, man, this guy finna take off fast. I gotta hurry up and get my hands on him, get him inside, pull him closer to me so they won't call no holding call. And once I did that, and once I got my hands underneath his shoulder pads and pulled him closer to me, he doing all this, looking for a foul, and he telling the ref like, you know what I'm saying? That's a foul. The ref, like, he got his hands inside and his arms is not extended. And that's what Bobby Williams kept me on special team. And if you go back and watch special team back in 2015 and 16, once you see me line up in the film is ran, you don't see me anymore.
What's up?
Because I took my guy out of the film.
That's what's up. All in my lap at home.
And that's
Marv, what you got, Marv?
And that's why I respect.
Well, that walk-on was very valuable to the team.
Yeah, that's why.
You had a lot. Yeah, we had a lot of walk-ons that way. Absolutely, but there were some that did need to be out there.
Like someone just wanted. Someone that was out there just so we on our away game, they wear their outfit to the bar and say they on the football team.
Absolutely.
That was me. Marv, what you got, man?
Well, Mr. Lewis, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you and commend you, for a job well done because, I came 15 years after you and I had the pleasure of playing with Andrew Zhao. And I seen the things that he had to deal with in the late 90s. So I could only imagine what it was like in the 80s. So I know that was not an easy path to walk by no means. So, but looking at today's game and how the game has evolved from when you played to now, how much different would your career have gone if you played in today's game versus back in the 80s?
Well, one of the things I think about is
Heisman.
Yeah, one of the things I think about compared to the game today, when I grew up as a young football player, I had to play the type game that was being played. It was a running type attack. We weren't throwing the ball a whole lot or whatever. So that's what I grew up. That's what I learned, and that's what I had to do. Once I got to college. If I could have grown up in the offenses that they're playing now, it would have been very different for me from a standpoint of, the abilities that I've been blessed with to throw the football, to run the football, to have that energy to be able to compete and want to compete. It would have been very interesting relative to my career as a player, in my opinion, but I had to play with the hand that was dealt with me during the time or during the era that I played. And I looked at a lot of players, growing up, and just tried to emulate what I saw. And a lot of that I did on the football field when I was a player at Alabama. I was able to emulate things that I saw that were different and incorporate the physical abilities that I had along with it. And it brought me some success. Success may have been a little bit different if I'd had a little bit more training, from that perspective.
Okay.
All right, Steve, you're up, sir.
My question is, I've watched you play when I was coming up. I was a huge fan, and I just loved the way you played. And of course, you mentioned something that was very profound: the times. And some of our good old fans are still back in the times.
Sure.
So yes, they're still riding the
Absolutely.
times. They don't want to see a quarterback of color at Alabama. That's just what it is. So what advice would you give to Jalen Milroe? Because still a lot of our fans are not wanting him to be the quarterback, like they didn't want the Jalen Hurts and the others to be quarterbacks because they don't look like they should be a quarterback at Alabama because of the color. So what advice would you give to Jalen Milroe today?
I would give this advice to Jalen Milroe and any quarterback really is this for him, or you got to be locked in. As I mentioned to you earlier, you got to be locked in. You got to understand, the concepts that what you're trying to accomplish on a football field, and you go out and you just block out what's there because that's just life. Mm-hmm. I mean, these things are not going to go away. These things are generational things that happen. 40, 50, 80 years ago. These are things that were going on in Bible days. Mm-hmm. That's just human nature, in terms of how people see things and there, because, it's just, but you can use that as a tool to grow as a person, to grow as a player, because that could be energy for you, relative to the situation that you're in. And that principle applies in life. It applies to anyone that, that puts it out there and uses it, there. But that's one of the things that I know as a player when I was playing, I just locked in because, you have to lock in as a quarterback. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to lock in as a quarterback because that spot in the center spot on the football field, that's where everything starts.
Kill the outside noise per se.
You kill it off. You just, lock in and just, play the game in your mind. Play it in your mind.
Hold on.
Not locked in. It's guys like me on the other side of the ball ready to do something to you.
Exactly. You come in, you talking noise all day long. You got to block that out.
Hold on, Mr. Walter.
Yes.
You knew the running back had to know the same thing that the quarterback had
Absolutely.
to know too now.
absolutely.
We had to know who the Mike is and who going to block who.
Who's Mike?
Cause soon as a lineman supposed to block his guy and he don't block it, they gonna blame it on the running back.
Well, and that quarterback's got to direct the traffic left or right to determine who the Mike becomes, right? So it's gonna start there with the quarterback in the center, and then it's gonna gravitate to you because you got to see it as well.
What I'm saying is, offensive guard or offensive man may miss his block, and a guy coming free, and then you got to get your guy, and then they're gonna say, well, why didn't you block this guy? Then you're gonna be like, that's not my man. Then they're gonna say, well, you block him. This who you block.
Hey, you got to be a football player then.
Right.
You do.
You got to be a football player.
Now you gotta figure out how to block two people. Steam one and get ran over slowly by the other one.
There you go. I like that philosophy. Before we get to our last round of questions, I got to recognize some folks in the audience who have donated to us generously. Can't talk. So first of all, Jimmy Clay, $38. We appreciate you, sir. Team 28, big softball fan. And number 10, Jimmy Clay is a guy who is very excited to see you, Walter. He's been asking for a long time, so we granted him his wish. One thing we got to recognize to everybody on this channel is we just hit 10,000 subscribers, folks, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you, JB, for recognizing that. Again, y'all are the stars. We just show up. Then WJ Brown, $10. Let's see. He's talking about how you made him proud, Walter, and he was an engineering major. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ty Alexander, $9.99. Question from Mr. Lewis. What do you think about the game these days with the transfer portal in NIL? Do you feel the passion for the game has left this generation?
Yes, they have.
You want me to try to respond on that question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think there is a place for NIL and transfer portal. I think there's a place for it, but I think there's going to have to be some type of organized approach to it, to where everybody benefits or puts everybody in the same arena. There. I'm all for players getting paid. Creating opportunities for themselves, because I didn't have that opportunity. Coming along, and people make money off of us. But we could not make it ourselves.
Right.
But yeah, it can distract from the game and the player or whatnot. But I think if everyone can put their heads together and come up with a plan to where it benefits the university, it benefits the players, it benefits the team. If we can look at it from that perspective, I think the compassion and the passion for the game, can be stable relative to how people play it, there.
Can I piggyback off of what he said?
Yes.
I think from my perspective with this NIL deal, I think a great way to do it would be, how you couldn't transfer school when you get on campus, like when you get to that school, you can't transfer until you graduate.
Right.
I think they should still have that in place, but also the NIL deal in place as well. That way, once these guys get this money, because some of these guys go on to the team to get the money and then transfer to where they want to go.
Yeah.
I think a great idea would be to keep it the same way how they had it before. Once you get to a school and you got your NIL deal money, you cannot leave that school until you graduate and eligible to leave on your own. Because one thing that they're actually doing, it messing up high school kids from going to the school that they want to go to, and then forcing them to go to a school that they don't want to play for. Because some players may want to play for the University of Alabama, and then a coach may say, hold on, we got this guy in the transfer portal. Let's see if we're going to get him. So, and now you waiting. And then as you waiting, other teams are getting filled up, and then Alabama ended up getting that guy who they were waiting for. Now you stuck with a D2 school, a school you didn't want to go to, and that put that kid in a bad situation. Now he fell out of love with football because he didn't go to the school that he wanted to go to. Now he lost the passion for it. Now he don't want to give the effort that he was gonna give to the school that he wanted to go to, where his heart and soul was at, and that a school that he probably dreamed about going to, and it being taken away from the transfer portal because coaches are waiting on other guys to see what are they gonna do. So it's almost like they putting the high school kids on the back burner to see if they gonna get this guy. If they don't get this guy, then we'll sign you. I don't want to play for nobody like that. I want to play like when Coach Saban came to recruit, when Coach Saban, and this is one of the reasons how Coach Saban got me. Coach Saban came to me and said, "We don't want you because there's a lot of schools out here want you. I need you to come play for me, because if he need me to come play for him, that means that he gonna try his best and to his ability to make me a better person, player, a man, whatever it is, opposed to a coach saying, I want you to come play for me. Okay, he want me to come play for him. I go play for him. You get he don't give a S about you because he got you on campus. He only wanted you because that was his job to recruit that area. Okay, I'm gonna go get this guy because this the area that I recruited in. I got him. He's not my guy. He's not my position. You go handle your position, coach. You go ask him for that. That's not my responsibility. And now this guy then built a relationship with you, and he got to go talk to a guy that he didn't even build a relationship with, who's his coach.
There it is.
Hey, real quick, before we get our last round in with Walter, and Walter, we greatly appreciate you being here. It's definitely an honor, sir. Ray Parham, $5. Walter Lewis is the reason I started following Bama football as a 7-year-old back in the early 80s.
Thank you, Ray.
Hey, Justin, let's do this, man. If we can get questions from the audience members. There are a lot of excited audience members here.
Yes,
that want to ask questions. And I think that'd be cool. What do you think?
I'm glad you brought that up because Ephraim Davis actually brought up a question I wanted to ask. Mm-hmm. And we always talk about season-defining games. This past year for us and for Jalen Milroe was the LSU game. And the game I'm referring to that I want to go back to is the 1982 Penn State game. Kind of same situation, two premier quarterbacks, Walter Lewis versus Todd Blackledge. You had an amazing game, Walter. It was an exciting game across the board. It was back and forth until late. And you did, like I said, amazing job. That throw you made to the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion was a thing of beauty. The defense, too, led by Jeremiah Castile, forcing 5 interceptions. Can you tell us about that game, that moment, and what did that performance mean to you?
Was this the game in 81?
82.
82?
Went to Happy Valley, and you embarrassed them on national television.
Man, like I say, we don't have it wasn't the game. It was not the game that was really, really interesting. It's what happened before the game that was really interesting that people don't know about. Coach Bryant, he was like Nick Saban, liked you to dress nice and all those types of things. So we went to Birmingham prior to that game, and I think it was number 1 against number 2. Mm-hmm. In terms of ranking, I believe. Mm-hmm. And Coach Bryant would tell us what to wear before we, leave on Friday to go to Birmingham. And he didn't say nothing that day. He didn't say anything on Friday. And everybody, what we wore was a big thing. It really was. And people wanted to just wear jeans and just a regular little button-down shirt or whatever. And he didn't say anything. So as we running off the field, guys were asking each other, man, what you gonna wear? What you gonna wear? What you gonna wear? And they said, what are you gonna wear? I said, I'm just gonna wear just a polo shirt and a pair of slacks. So we get there that night. Nobody says anything. We get on the bus. You know, we're at the hotel. We come down for breakfast that morning to eat for the pregame meal. And Coach Bryant has a brisk walk in the cafeteria of the hotel. And he said, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. He got around to my table, pointed at me. I said, I want you. I want everybody in here that don't have a coat and tie on to get out of here. Don't come back. Don't come back until you find one. Man, that threw a wrench in our game, you know. But that whole week of practice, we all were practicing tight, you know, as it relates to how we were wanting to deal with Penn State. And I went back to my room. My roommate said, Joe Carter was my roommate. He said, well, what we going to do, man? We can't find the tie. So I went across the way to the people that were standing next door. And the guy had two ties. Joe had one. I took one. It was a yellow and green pinstripe striped tie. And I put it on a polo shirt. And the polo shirt. So we go back into the meeting room. We had about 10 guys report back with no ties. Rocky Coburn came back with a tie that was a bow tie, you know, that was a cardboard broke bow tie that the waiters had on. Hey, over a leisure suit.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
With the silk shirts, you know.
Right.
But I share that. That's a quick story. That's quick, but you know, but what happened, Coach Bryant took our minds off of the game and it started talking and it loosened us up to come out there and compete against Penn State. And that's how that game went. I mean, we were loose. I was loose. Everybody on the team, both defensively and offensively, were loose. And we went out and had a great game against Todd Blacklash. They had Kurt Warner running back. I mean, dude was off the charts. I mean, Bo, he was better than you. Kurt Warner. He was a great running back, played in the pros for Seattle, man. He was a great running back, man. But they had a great team. And but that if what happened before the game that really, you know, pushed that game for us. And I was very fortunate to have a pretty good game on national TV that particular day, you know, against those guys, you know, there. But that's just backdrop stuff that goes on in the course of a game that people don't really know sometimes, you know, what really motivates and pushes and drives a team, you know.
Right. That's an interesting story, man. That's a very interesting story.
Real quick, I got to get a shout out here, Steve and Marvin and the crew. Miss Olivia Arnold, the official queen of the Bama Standard, the director of the Bryant Museum, wanted to shout out to you, Walter. Olivia here. I just want to thank Walter for always being so open and honest about his experiences.
All right. There it is.
Only way to be.
Yes, sir.
It is what it is, and I'm grateful for it. I tell you guys, you know, it's really good to talk with you all, you know, here, and because not everyone gets this opportunity, and I'm grateful for my experience at Alabama. I mean, it's an experience that I had there that I would not trade it for nothing. I'm talking the good, I'm talking the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, all of it. Everything you experience in life is for your good, whether it's good, bad. You just got to grow from it. I mean, Bo, I hear you retired, right?
Yeah, I did.
Your body is dealing with stuff. You know, I had to retire, you know, for similar reasons. But you've had a great career, and this is something that you can build off on in life. And that's what's important. Yeah, you know, that's what's important. So I encourage you all. I mean, Stephen A., I've been watching you, you know, in terms of what you put out there. You're doing a great job. And Marvin, you know, you came back from your injury, you know, and did some great things. You're keeping you seems like you're moving in the right direction right now, and that's awesome.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Mr. Walton, get what me and you have in common.
What's that?
Our needs better than Marvin.
Hey, well, you know, everybody's going through that thing, and everybody's, you know, you said Marvin's migrating and doing his thing, and Bo and Mr. Lewis, yours is, you know, the body's starting to mess with him, and it's but I'm conquering this erectile dysfunction. I'm conquering it. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be all right.
Guys got a plan for you, Steve. I'm trying to figure out what that is. Before we let Walter go, Stephen Smith, I'm gonna let you have the final question. So make it a great one, and then we'll say goodbye to this legend here, and then we'll bring in our next guest.
So, Mr. Lewis, just your greatest memory, if you have just the greatest memory of you being a quarterback at the University of Alabama, whether it was a game, a moment at practice, a moment around Coach Bryant, just your greatest memory just sealed in your mind.
I know this is gonna be a long question.
Well, you know, one of the things I liked about Nick Saban's teams is when guys scored, I really enjoyed seeing players come off the sideline, high-fiving and hugging each other, you know, and just loving. I mean, that really says a lot, you know, and I wish it would have been more of that when I was coming along, you know, in terms of being able to, but that was encouraged, that encourages the heck out of me to see that type of stuff on teams, you know, there. And you asked me what are some of the most important times. Some of those times then come, you know, on the football field. You know, I remember, you know, we go out and scrap and scrape out on the football field. And I remember my freshman class that came in, you know, Steve Booker, Joe Carter, Paul Carew, Joey Jones. I mean, the list, Doug Vickers, Mike Adcock, you just go down the line. And that first year that we had, it was a tough year for all of us. Jesse Bendros from Miami, you know, playing in the wishbone, great receiver, you know. And I remember this. This is something that vividly is in my mind all the time. I think about that class. I remember coming home after practice or 2 days, and I remember Steve Booker. He's up in Huntsville now. I remember he had packed all this stuff up, put it out in the hallway, you know. And he was, you know, he was going to leave. He was going to leave. And I remember coming out in the hallway and I said, Steve, I said, look, man, we all came here together. Guess what's going to happen? We're going to all leave here together. I said, go take your stuff and put it back in the room. And he did it. He put it back in the room. But the point I'm trying to make here is, you know, one of the things that y'all asked me what it was like. You know, when I when I decided to come to Alabama, when I decided to sign my name on the dotted line, it was one of the worst days of my life. Even though I had a piece about coming to Bama, you know, but when I was able to go through that experience with Steve Booker, you know, that's when God said, Walt, this is where you need to be, and that when I could figure out this is where I needed to be. And this is what I needed to be doing. That was just a blessing to be able to deal with all the obstacles that would come down the line in order to achieve what I was able to achieve there. Man. And that's what it's all about, guys. That's it, you know. Wow. And that's what that moment came not on the football field, but it came there with some teammates that I could, you know, get to know, that I got to be with, that I got to ride out a career with at Alabama together. You know,
there it is. There it is. So before you go, got to get you to do one thing. I need you to say, my name is Walter Lewis, quarterback of what year, and you're watching the Bama Standard.
Okay.
All right.
I hope I can get a movie contract if I do this right.
We can do that. You got it. We got our HR team working on that right now.
Your name, the year you played, and you're watching the Bama Standard.
Okay. My name is Walter Lewis. I played in 1980 to 1983 for the University of Alabama, and you know I'm watching the Bama Standard.
There it is.
I love that.
There it is.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you, guys. Y'all all did a great job. Yes.
One thing before you get out of here. So I know you played in the mid '80s. So I got to ask this question.
Yes.
Original Dreamland or Dreamland now?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Right,
you got to make it right.
I'll go with original day in and day out.
That's a good answer.
Get him out of here, Justin.
Well, Walter, I'm going to close on this comment here from Charles Dowdell. Everyone was Walter Lewis in the front yard when we played football. So, Walter, again, it's been an absolute honor to have you on, brother. We greatly appreciate you and everything you did for the university, and we hope to have you back on soon, my friend. Roll Tide.
Thank you so much, guys. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for being a fan of mine, Mr. Lord. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide, sir.
Yes, sir.
Stephen and Smith, listen, I hope you have some energy left, because we have one more guest waiting in the wings. And if you would, my friend, go ahead. Let's introduce him.
All right. So
the first one that chose the right.
We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it moving.
all right. So we got a brother from Gadsden, Alabama, played at Gadsden City High School. We're talking about one of the big-time linebackers in the Nick Saban era, a two-time, not one, two-time national BCS national champion. He played in the National Football League as well. He had one of the big pads on his neck because he was about to go down their hill, knocking you out on the ground. We got Jerrell, two-time champion, knocked you in the face, Harris.
Woo, Jerrell.
What's happening, man? What's
going
happening?
on, man? I love that. I appreciate it.
You can't hit harder than me, though.
Stevie, you know they call a horse collar, right?
I know that.
Hey, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Man, when's the last time you had an intro like that, Jerrell? Or have you ever had something on that kind of level?
Never. For now, hey, I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna show it to everybody before I go on, so they gotta match this energy.
Steven, he lying. I just gave him an intro like that last night.
I don't know if I had the power that Stephen M. Smith possesses, man. You know, I mean, unless you got some Morgan Freeman thing going on, I mean, it's hard to compare to that. But
Exactly, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal.
Jerrell, I know it was a good weight, but I'm sure you heard a lot of great things from the legend Walter Lewis while you're in the waiting room. So it's your time now. Let's go ahead and get to it. A-Day games this week, so I'm going to start things out. Then we'll move to Stephen M. Smith and to Steve Brown, Marvin, and then Bo. We'll keep that order going. So take us back to your day, man. You're putting all that work in the spring, and you got the anticipation building for A-Day. Take us through, the whole spring and kind of what your feeling was going into A-Day and the emotions involved once it finally arrived. Man, what was going through your head?
I think the first thing to go through everybody's head is we're glad that the winter workouts are over with, right? I think that's without a doubt the least favorite part of every football player's career is going through that. It seems like from the last game all the way into the spring is so long and tedious, and because the season is so far away at that point, so it's really the dog days of the grind. And I think by the time you get to the spring, it's kind of your chance to really showcase what you've been working on all off season, kind of show the coaches that whatever things you need to improve on from last year that you've been focusing on and you're ready to go, you're ready to showcase it. And then also for the fan base, right? You wanted to put on a good show for your family and friends and just kind of give them a preview of what's coming up this next coming season.
Okay. Stephen M., what you got for this man? You got to follow up that intro with a powerful question, so no pressure.
Okay. So, Jerrell, favorite A-Day moment, like in your career, what was the A-Day moment that had you go, man, I really got this? Or your favorite A-Day moment with one of your teammates did something and you was like, woo, homeboy got it right here?
I'm probably say the first one. The first one was probably the favorite. The 2008 squad was so special. And I think just the dynamic that we had, meshed with the older guys from the 07 and 06 class, was kind of the perfect storm going into that 2009 season. I think, man, everybody was clicking on all cylinders. And I think because, we was able to witness what the program looked like before we got there. And so to kind of see the whole foundation being built, we knew that, okay, it was really something that we was like, man, we're going to be a force to reckon with, they're going to really have to lay out all the guns to get us taken down. I think that year we had Clemson in the dome coming up. So we was geeked and we was ready to go.
That's what's up.
Steve Brown, you're up next, but before you ask your question, if you would, tell the folks what's going on Friday night.
Friday night, I will be with my brothers, the Bama Standard, at the Bryant Museum. We're doing it live, people. Live. We will be there live, so y'all come out, man. Got my man Bo Scarborough will be there. Of course, Stephen Smith, Justin Riley, and myself. And Marvin will be there too. Plus, we got a lot of Bama legends coming through, man. It's going to be great. So tell somebody that knows somebody with a car to come on down to the Bryant Museum this Friday and check us out, man. Hang out with us. And plus, we'll be at the A-Day game. And yes, they're going to let me do a little quarterbacking. So y'all might want to see that.
I'm just wondering who served you that restraining order you was reading and holding up earlier.
All right, so my question is this to you, Jerrell. I've watched you play, man, and you are a complete dog. My question is, have you contacted EA Sports? Because I can't believe they gave you an 80 rating on NCAA football. I was pissed. You had to be pissed about that. Now, they gave Marvin a 77. Now, I agree with that.
I was actually 98 and 99.
80, man. What was up with that? Did you contact them, man? Because I tried to call everything.
No. I don't even play video games, so I ain't have no clue about the rating.
Man, they gave you an 80, man. They got like, what is going on here? And then it makes it so bad. They showed you coming. You got hurt coming out the locker room. I'm like, I know this ain't the Jerrell I know. Wait a minute. So yeah, man. So
yeah, they definitely had a misprint because I ain't never been hurt before.
Yeah, so, man. So call them folks, man. Call them folks, man.
Now, Steve, was this on PlayStation or Xbox? Which one?
It was on PlayStation. Jerrell, they had you with a helmet like this on the game. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, not my dog. That's a dog.
Was he wearing it backwards, Steve?
Yeah, man. So call them folks.
Hey, Steve, you ain't lying neither, Steve. When they used to be before the game, they used to be doing warm up, doing tackling. He ain't had no helmet on.
Yeah, call them.
He just used to be out there tackling. Everybody else got helmet on. He out there using his head.
That's what they did. They do it in Gadsden right there.
Hey, Jerrell, call them folks, man. Call them.
I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow.
Next question. Who
Marvin, I knew you got something for him coming from the defensive side of the ball.
Big bro, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother? Hope life's been treating you well. So, looking at Alabama's transition from that 3-4 to the 4-2-5, what are your thoughts on that, and what do you see as being the biggest pain point for them moving forward? Because we both know in that 4-2-5, you have those smaller inside linebackers, and you got to be able to play the run and the pass in that situation. And a lot of times you get caught in that defense, especially if you're playing against an offense that's running, up tempo. So, what do you see as that biggest pain point, and what are your thoughts on it?
That's a good question, man. I think, our tradition has always been big guys, so that can run. And I think moving to that with smaller linebackers, I think, we've had some success in the past with smaller guys able to still get the job done. When you look at your CJ Mosley's, guys of that caliber, I mean, CJ wasn't that big. And he still got the job done. So I think it's just about making sure that you get the right guys to fill the spots. I do think it's going to be an advantage standpoint, right? Because they're basically big safeties, essentially. So they are going to be able to cover the pass a little bit better. And I think we got a pretty good defensive line. So I think they're going to help them guys out a lot by making sure they keep the linemen off of them. I don't really think it's going to be too much of an issue as long as the linebackers, filling the holes like they need to.
Okay.
But they need guys like you out there on their edge.
They do. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Need somebody to pinch in the end.
Okay, Bo, you're up, man. What question do you have for Jerrell?
Man, me and Jerrell, man, we've been close since I was in middle school, Jerrell?
Yes, sir.
And when I used to go over there and watch them boys practice, and I used to watch Jerrell practice, man, I used to say to myself, ain't no way I'm going to another school. They got Jerrell, Dante Hightower, then you got Courtney Ushaw who's sitting in the corner who ain't saying nothing to nobody.
hey, Bo, you know what? Bo, that reminds me. Let me tell you something. I met Courtney Upshaw, and I told the funniest joke. I was working on this joke for like a week, and I told a joke, and everybody laughed their asses out, but him. I just crawled to the car. I just crawled to the car. I'm like, man, this
Courtney Ushaw was sitting over there laying on them bad. Drake Kirkpatrick came over there and was like, come on, man, you ain't gonna get up and work. You ain't gonna do nothing. Man, you know how you be laying across the bed, peeking at the grass. Courtney Ushaw looked up at Drake Kirkpatrick, gave him that look. Drake Kirkpatrick ain't say nothing. I said, yeah, I know not to mess with him. I said, I'm coming to play for Alabama with D boy here. But the question I got for you is, I really don't have a question because
I knew it.
Because we kind of work together now. You know what I mean?
I knew it. It was gonna be a Bama story. I knew it.
I got one. What was one difficult moment that you had to overcome at Alabama that you thought was easy, but it turned out to be hard?
Bo,
Okay.
you know you was there.
That I
Did
thought
you, did you cause it?
but it turned out to be hard, difficult moment. I would say really just coming into the program, coming into the program as a highly recruited linebacker, it's always assumption that you're gonna start right away, right? And so I'm not gonna lie, I came in with anticipation of playing and getting reps early. But that wasn't the case, Coach Saban had a real process, NFL-like process, that he was going to make you work, and it didn't matter how athletic you was, how big, how strong you was. He wanted to make sure that you knew the ins and outs of the defense and just being a complete player to get on the field. So I think that was something that, I assumed to be pretty easy, but then it turned out to be pretty difficult. Just because you just wasn't finna fall into the rotation by luck. Like, you had to earn that. For some guys it was a short wait, for some guys it was a long wait. And we kind of we came in the class or the generation where transfer portal wasn't there.
Right.
There wasn't no option of you just leaving just because you didn't play the last year. Like, you really had to work your way through the special teams and then work your way into the rotation.
Yeah, and that's what I hate about the NIL. Now, like, if a kid don't play, they transfer. Like,
exactly.
You're not even giving it, like, the NIL not even letting these kids work for what they trying to get. It's like everything is just being thrown into their lap. And then when they get to the NFL, it's strictly business. So you're gonna have to know how to handle business. When you get cut, traded to another team, now you're gonna be wondering why I got cut, what I can do better, like how do I handle this?
Yeah, for sure.
Now you the depressed instead of, okay, I'm cut by that team, but I gotta keep working because I know somebody else. I done played 3 preseason games. I know they done seen my film. They may bring me in for a workout, so I need to be in shape. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you.
It ain't no you mad because you ain't play. You finna go over here to the Dolphins. Nah, you finna stay and play out their contract and sit on that bench and see what it feel like.
And just from an adversity standpoint, I think for men, man, it's imperative. I mean, our DNA is different from females in the sense of we got to figure it out at all costs. It don't matter. Ain't nobody care about no excuses, none of that. So I think when you set a platform for young men not to have to figure it out, I mean, what kind of men are they going to be one day? Right? They're going to think that they can just up and leave, whenever something happens, and that's just not the real world.
Got an interesting question from an Auburn fan of all people. Let me see if I can read this right. Jerrell, which Auburn Tiger looked up to you from the most from the ground? Is that how it's read? Which Auburn Tiger that looked up to you? Oh,
asking him which Auburn Tiger he looked up to the most.
I think that's not the right way because they're mostly on the ground looking up to you, right, Jerrell?
And that's right. That's right.
Oh, no, that's an Auburn fan. That could be kind of sexual. Just let's get rid of that question. Let's get the next question.
You should have told him. You should have told him. Well, I ain't never looked up. I always had to look down to see what they talking
That's
about.
what he did, just cleaning things up. Very understandable. But I got a question, and then we'll go back to Steven and Marv in the regular order. So we're hearing things this spring about who's excelling. Of course, Jihaad Campbell is becoming that dude, solidifying himself as that next big linebacker in the middle. But we're also hearing about the young guys who are making noise. You got Jeremiah Alexander, you got Keanu Coote, and a bunch of other guys kind of making the name for themselves. Is there a guy you have your eye on right now? And what are your expectations for this group of linebackers?
I wouldn't say with the linebackers. I think I'm still keeping my eyes on the older guys. I think it's time for some of them guys to just emerge and showcase a dominant force. And what was the second part of the question you asked?
Just your expectations. What are your realistic expectations going into 2024 season? Now we got a lot swirling around, different situation, changing of the guard, a lot of people counting us out. So in your mind, what is your realistic expectations for this team going forward?
Man, I think they got something to prove, which is always a good thing for our case. Is because when you have a dominant program, the hardest thing to do is to keep them motivated, right? How do you not keep the team? That's something Coach Saban always talked to us about. How do you not stay complacent and finding different reasons to show up at work and not just keeping your foot on the gas. I think with the new coaching staff coming in, a lot of people are counting us out. They're not putting us with the same respect that we took so long to build. So I think for these guys, it's a prove it year that regardless of who the coach is, we still one of the top teams in the nation.
Oh, almost definitely. Stephen M. Smith, you're great at questions, man. You hit it on the first one. Go ahead with the next one.
Okay, so Jerrell, Coach Saban was a guy that always kept everybody on their toes. It didn't matter if it was a game, a practice, a team meeting. Was there a Saban story of you getting chewed out by him or a teammate getting chewed out by him that you just remember like, man, why did I do that? Why did my homeboy do that? Why we got to get chewed out by Saban?
Yeah. Oh man, Saban didn't spare nobody, man. Man, you can have a million stories about him chewing out everybody. I think my favorite story was my guy Robert Lester, and so
he was good.
One of the reasons. So it was two reasons why I had the horse collar, but nobody ever knew this. One of them was because I grew up a Florida State fan, and so I used to watch their linebackers, Lawrence Timmons and Ernie Sims and all them boys. They used to have the horse collars and stuff. So that was the first reason. The second reason was I was trying to hide my hair, right? So Saban had this thing. I don't know. He recruited a whole bunch of dread heads, but for whatever reason, he didn't want our hair to get long. So I got smart, and I was like, he started kind of inching around like, hey, you might want to cut your hair and trim it down. And I'm just like, Coach, I ain't cutting my hair. Like, you recruited me with this hair, I ain't cutting it off. So my
Coach Saban,
huh?
Coach Saban.
Yes, yeah, Coach Saban, yeah, because he was like, every day in practice he'd be like, hey, I don't want it covering up your name, I don't want it on your shoulder pad. He just had this thing where he just was like, he wouldn't let it go, a dog on a bone. And so I was like, all right, I got something for him. So I came out with the horse collar. So I stuck mine down in my shoulder pad. So now you can't say nothing else to me. And so the next person he went was Robert Lester. And so Robert, he had this thing at first where he, this training staff, he was folding our hair up and they was putting this little ball and stuff. I know y'all remember if y'all go back and watch
rubber band.
And so every now and then the rubber band will bust, so the hair come out, and Coach Saban would lose it, of course, as if we wasn't trying to keep it up. And I remember one day Robert cut his hair and came back the next day with it trimmed, and Coach Saban still cussed him out. And I was looking at him, I was like, see, that's why I ain't cut it right there. So that probably was the funniest story with him chewing out somebody, because that was just his personality. Like from early years, I don't know how he was with Bo, but when them early years with us, man, it was shoestrings, it was hair, it was socks, man. It wasn't. He didn't care what it was on your uniform. He wanted it to look a certain way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One day he came up and
same thing.
He was like, "Why don't you just fold it up?" My grandmother, he said my grandmother used to pin her hair up and roll it up and bun. And I looked at him, Coach, and I said, me and your grandmama had the same, Coach. And he just said, well, you might be right. Just fix it anyway.
Yeah.
He was the same. He was the exact same way when I got there. Come wear long sleeve when it was cold outside. Come wear leggings when it was cold outside. And the game that he let us wear leggings, we almost lost to Mississippi State when they were undefeated. And he said, no more leggings and no more undershirts.
Right.
The farther your undershirt could go under your pad was, it start right there before it get to your bicep muscle. Yeah. Right there. That's the far as it can go. Other than that, you can wear nothing else.
Is that for the running back?
Everybody. He had did it to everybody. And get what everybody started putting on then. A&D ornament.
Yeah, Vaseline.
That's
Steve,
what you got next.
Steve, you had some issues with the long hair in your helmet, right?
I did.
Well,
I just stopped wearing the helmet. Look,
I understand. Go ahead, ask your question, brother.
Now, I have a statement, and this is for Marvin and for our guests. Listen, again, another tradition has been broken. One of the linebackers is now wearing number 0. Okay, never in Alabama history as a player wore 0. Let me tell y'all something. I'm Jerrell and Marvin and the rest of you linebackers. If he don't perform like Cornelius Bennett or the late great Derek Thomas, y'all go personally take that damn number and give him a linebacker number.
Well, here's the thing, Steve.
You're gonna have to all this. You getting your number changed to an unorthodox number to stand out. You're gonna have to play like you stand out. You're gonna have to be a Cornelius Bennett, or you're gonna have to be a Derek Thomas. You're gonna have to be one of the greats, bro. Why you trying to change your number?
One thing I don't think a lot of these kids understand is when you do things to draw extra attention to yourself, it can be good, but it can also be bad.
Because he wasn't all that great last year. He was okay. I'm not criticizing him. He was okay, but you change your number to 0, like you're gonna be aging, like you're gonna bust some heads. And I didn't see that. I didn't see that last year.
You know what that means, Steve? When you change that number to 0, that means you got to be a dog every game.
Every day. And so y'all, because listen, if you don't live up to it, I'm challenging y'all defensive players to go take that number and change it to an alphabet.
Steve, what number you want? 69.
You can't come out.
No, change it to the alphabet. I wore a B.
Steve
had Roman numerals on his jersey.
You can't come out that field with a cramp wearing number 0.
You can't. Hey, Marvin, like you said, you don't have any room for error. Jerrell, what's your take on that?
No, I agree 100% with you. Yeah, the pressure on, the lights is on. Everybody gonna be paying attention because they definitely want to see what you're gonna be about. So maybe that's the point, right? He knew that he had an average year last year, so maybe he trying to step up everything in the mentality. We're gonna hope that it works out.
He better get a sack every day and play, even if the quarterback ain't dropping back. Sack his ass. He better do something.
Gotta accept the mission that comes with playing linebacker. Like Olivia's saying, Derek and Biscuit, those are generational talents. Absolutely. Speaking of Miss Olivia, I want to remind everybody, listen, your A-Day weekend is not going to be complete until you go to the Paul Bryant Museum on Saturday. The Saban era legends have an autograph signing from 10 to 11 a.m. We got some dudes who are going to be there signing autographs. Matter of fact, we got Terrion Arnold and Will Reichard, two of the most beloved players on this current team will be there. But you got guys like Trent Richardson, Landon Dickerson, who can be with us on Friday night, Christian Jones, Darius Hanks, and a lot of folks. Blake Sims, the list will keep going.
Brown.
And Steve Brown. Steve Brown will be there. He'll be signing some Stacey Adams to bring your boxes. But yeah, the Saban era legends autograph signing.
You ain't even mention me.
We getting to it, Bo.
Hey, Bo Scarborough.
We were just about to get you, dog.
You see, the Bible teaches patience, and apparently you haven't read yours recently. I want you to go back and hit that scripture about patience.
Hey, you didn't mention me either.
You ain't even mention me. Oh yeah, and speaking of, and let me say this about Miss Olivia. You said those were generational talents. I went to school with Cornelius Bennett's sister. She was in the class next to my special ed class. I knew her personally. So don't do that.
You used to get all the answer off her sheet, huh?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
But yes, Bo Scarborough will be there along with Mr. Marvin Constance. So go check them out. But yeah, let's get back to the questions. Marvin, pick up where the hilarity left off of Steve Smith.
So with the transition of Alabama's defense, with this new system coming into play, which player do you think is best suited to excel in this system, and what do you expect from that player going into the season?
I'm looking at, man, one of my favorites is still Malachi Moore. I'm thinking that, he's been building, he's been growing, developing better as each year. I still don't think we've seen his best breakout year yet. I think that this year is going to be that year for him that the defense is going to be centered around him and just his playmaking abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm looking at him to have a huge season.
I love that guy. I really
love
do.
that.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, when you get your hair together, go ahead and get your question in, and then we'll start to kind of wind things down.
Well, Marvin kind of really asked the question, but I'm asking in a different type of way how the media does it.
Marvin, over there, notes. Tell Marvin stop looking for notes, man.
Who do you think that we have a Buckner Award winner on our team this year?
Okay, Buckus Award winner. Okay.
Okay, Buckus,
Okay.
Buckus Award winner.
Spotlight's on you, Jerrell.
I think it's got to be Malachi Moore.
That's for linebackers.
Yeah. Malachi can't win the Buckets.
Even though he can bring the pain like a linebacker, but
he can't win the Buckets.
He can win the Thor. He can win the Thor.
Man, it's gonna be hard, man. But hopefully Deontay and Quindarius, man, hopefully they have some big seasons, and I'm gonna throw their two names in there to fight for it.
Jerrell, I tell you who better win it. I know who better win it. The dude that turned the number the person that turned their number to number 0, he better win it. Turning your damn number to number 0, and that's never been done in Alabama. You better win it.
Right.
I mean flat out.
Steve, let me tell you something, Steve. Any linebacker that laughing on the field while play going on ain't no good.
I beg to differ because I laughed early and often while I was torturing people.
You know why you know why you laugh, Marvin?
Because I was enjoying torturing people.
You know why you were laughing? Because you said, "Oh, I already know where the play going. I'm finna light his ass up, and he don't even know it." That's why you were laughing.
Hey, Justin, these guys getting out of order. Let's end it.
They are. Okay, rapid fire questions so we can close it on out. I'll let Stephen M. Smith, the heart and soul of this panel, start it out, then Steve, then Marvin, then Bo, and I'll think a little something to finish it up.
So here we go, lightning round. So Jerrell, when the confetti fell, 2009 national championship season, everybody celebrating. Your first reaction when that confetti fell in 2009?
Man, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. That was my first championship ever winning, being a part of. The Rose Bowl was beautiful. Man, I was ready to get back to work. Yeah, we was thinking 3-peat.
Okay. Steve.
My question is, why that boy changed his number to 0? I don't understand why he did that. Listen, I ain't with that, but go ahead, real. Hey, talk to him, man. You can talk to him, and while you talking to him, I'm gonna try to get your PlayStation rating up to at least.
Okay, all right. Yes, send an email for me.
He's 90. Well, I can't do it on a flip phone, so give me your number, and I'll.
Okay.
Marvin.
Expectations for the team for the season.
Like I said,
with a record prediction.
Ooh, up the ante a little bit.
And wait a minute. So how many games is the game the same? The game's still the same.
12.
So okay, still 12. Okay.
Well, you got the playoff games.
The playoffs have been extended, right? This will be the first year the playoffs extended, and they extended to what? 8?
12.
To 12? 12 playoff? Man. You say what?
You're going undefeated.
We're going undefeated. Okay. I'm behind the coach, man. I'm behind the coach. I'm behind the team. I'm expecting a big year. I'm gonna say that they lose 2 games in the regular season, and I'm gonna say we go back to the national championship game.
Oh, I like that. I like that too.
Well, with the playoff system, you got a better odds to making it now. So even if you have those 2 early losses, so that is very viable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who are the losses to?
Don't answer that.
Don't
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't answer that.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Hey, Jerrell, we ain't losing none. I'm telling you.
There you go.
We ain't losing none. Well, we gonna lose that boy number. I tell you that.
And Steve, you got to go over there in all black and steal the jersey.
You know I will. I was telling stole so many things out of the Bryant Museum. I can get the jersey. Justin, let's go.
All right, Bo, get your rapid fire question in. And
making more damn noise than a racehorse.
Rapid fire question.
Who you think gonna be the breakout player this year that no one expect to be?
Nobody expected to be. Man, I'm gonna go with Damani Jackson.
Ooh, that's a
Go
good
with
one.
Damani Jackson. Yeah.
What position does he play?
Corner.
Play DB. Yeah, corner out
Okay, cool.
of USC.
Okay.
Okay.
So is go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't want to jump in. My bad.
Miss Olivia, Steve says that she needs her trash can back that you stole from the Bryant Museum.
Wow.
And she said she need them rings that you got out of the ring case too.
Carry on with the show, guys.
That you replaced with bubblegum machine rings.
Carry on with the show, guys.
All right, my last question. Your funniest moment from a spring training or a A-Day game?
Funniest moment. My funniest moment probably would be I don't remember which year it was. My guy Chris Jordan, that's one of my close guys, man. He was a linebacker, and back in our days, we had to bust the wedge. They kind of did away with that as the years went. So we were still wedge busting. And I remember Chris Jordan came down and he busted the wedge. I'm beside him on the outside. He had the pleasure of hitting the inside of the wedge. And so afterwards, we made the hit, and he got up and we celebrating. And he starts to go to the opposite side of the sideline. And so I grabbed him and said, "Bro, where you going?" He was like, "Hey man, just make sure I get to the sideline." he had knocked himself silly. And what I'm saying, not to take that lightly with the concussion stuff, but back in the day, that was pretty funny, man.
Yeah, man. I ain't like that. Going on with that prison talk.
I think the best crackback block used to be Vinny Sincere on
that dude. He was a dude.
Yeah.
Until he met old buddy from Arkansas.
All right, this question is for the real ones, Jerrell. We asked this of a lot of former players: Dreamland or Archibald's?
I think I'm going with Archibald's.
Smart man.
You know what to say.
I'm going with Archibald's.
All right.
Citizens Club or Our Place?
He been in Tuscaloosa for a minute.
Citizens Club or Our Place?
100%.
Okay. Last question: Moonwinks or Holiday Inn?
Steve, last question for you. Blue Flame or Magic City?
Which one does he not have a restraining order for?
Blue Flame or Magic City, Steve?
Don't worry about it.
I know that means you've been kicked out of the farm.
He was. Before we wrap it up, I want to remind everybody again, listen, the season never truly ends because you have your title towel in hand, or you can get your title towel in hand if you go to whitwillsports.com. They sponsor us, so they must be good, right? Well, you need to get one of these for a day. Go to whitwillsports.com and tell you what, because of the Bama standard, we're going to give you a nice little discount. The promo code STANDARD. So go ahead and order that today so you can have it by game day. Let's go around the room. Let's promote our socials. Let's tell folks what we got coming next. Jerrell will go last because he's our guest of honor. Marvin Constant, what you got, brother?
You can find me on Instagram, Constant45. You can find me on Twitter, Constant451. Both of them, you find direct links to purchase my fitness book, Physical and Mental Fitness at 40 plus, 3 different 6-week workout programs, 18 weeks worth of workouts. Now, Jerrell had the pleasure of coming to the compound to work out one time.
and I have not been back since.
Surviving Marvin, was that the documentary?
That man was trying to use me as a guinea pig. Marvin thought he was Coach Cochran.
Hey, listen, baby. You want to get that flat back in your life, baby? Hey,
Surviving Marvin.
$15 you ever spent.
T. Brown, I bought the book, but it made me lose 15 pounds.
Surviving Marvin.
Whatever you do, don't go to Marvin's house and talk about some working out.
That's right. Surviving Marvin. Surviving Marvin. He wanted you to put baby oil on. I'm like, wait a
minute. He didn't say it puts the lotion on.
Marvin, I got a 10-hour. I got a 10-hour class in Atlanta for 2 days, so we can get it in. Can I
All
stay at your house?
Depends on when you coming.
I don't know if you're ready for it, Bo.
Hey, and
Let me
May,
get my promo in. Let me get mine in.
May what?
So
All right, Steve
I'll
Brown,
let you know the final date.
and he's
okay.
Steve Brown and Stephen M. Smith and Jerrell will round it out.
All right, so
I ain't saying mine.
You're going.
Bo, say yours and then I get mine in. Go ahead, Bo.
No,
Say yours,
I'll
Bo.
make like the Stephen M. Smith. Go ahead.
Just giving you a hard time, brother.
All right, okay. All
I
right.
know,
So
you've been messing with me today.
A lot of y'all thinking that I'm waving the tie towel. I'm waving my draws, but I just wanted the promo to look authentic. So I'm gonna put my draws back over here. But anyway, y'all follow me my on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word, Comic Steve Brown, and also follow me on Facebook, Comedian Steve Brown fan page. And guess what, guys? I got a huge announcement. I, along with my brothers, will be in Tuscaloosa Friday and Saturday at the Bryant Museum, and y'all got to be in the building. It's going to be crazy. And if you get there early, you'll catch me wearing no bottoms. All right, let's do this, y'all. Let's do it.
Stephen M. Then Bo.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all can find me on X, on Twitter at Coach and M Smith. Y'all can also find all the articles that I do. TouchdownAlabama.com. Go to touchdownalabama.com. Pick up that subscription right there. We got a brand new podcast, or I have a brand new podcast on the site, The Way It Is, where I'm getting into never before stories on covering Alabama football. It's been really good so far. We are dropping the episode this week on how I knew before anybody else Jalen Hurts would be the starting quarterback in 2016 as a freshman. So check it out there on TDA Plus. But that's touchdownalabama.com. That's where all the articles are, practice, game-like things. Friday, going to be fun with the guys. Bama Standard Labs. Once again, we're bringing out the 3D fog glasses. So the 3D fog glasses, we'll be there at the Bryant Museum. Get all the fog, get them.
You got
Steve?
the 3D fog. Since you got the 3D fog glasses, what going on Saturday?
Well, let's see. It's not going to rain.
Good.
Steve, Olivia says pants are required.
Oh, dog.
WJ Brown, $5
Hold on,
coming
hold on.
our way. Enjoyed it, guys. Jerrell. All right, Bo. Promote
so-
your socials, your shirts, all that good stuff.
You can find me on all social media. Bo Scarborough. They go for Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook. I will be at the Paul Brown Museum for the show on the 12th. That Friday, the day before the 8A game. And I'm getting in town on Thursday, and I will be on campus all day Thursday. So if you're around on campus, I will be there taking pictures, signing autograph if you willing to have one. And I also got some very good news to announce. Me and Jerrell here is just started partnering up. He helping me out with some things that he's doing. Today was my first day, which I couldn't get much started really, but I like what he got in store for me. I think it's gonna be a very good plan for us later down the road, especially for athletes and a lot of people that's in this world, in the same world as us, and need these financial investments and advice. And you can go to boscarborough.com and order your summer leggings and your girls for your tops. You have top for the workout in. So yeah, and I still got the shirts on deck, and go to boscarborough.com and get your t-shirts and your leggings and hoodies.
Yes, sir. Don Parker, $5. Thanks, guys. Excellent show. Listen, the fun doesn't stop when we go off the air. Tune in 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern for the final whistle. Matt Caddell, Chris James, Dan James, Ty Hayes, Lucian Grays, and Daniel Patey. You don't want to miss out on that. Then tomorrow, The Crimson Dynasty at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern with She Payne, Dan James, and Hannah Stevens. You want to tune in to all we got going. And again, Friday night, the Paul W. Bryant Museum, 6 p.m. Be there for the Bama Standard. We got some legends coming on with us, Blake Sims, Laura McClain, and a lot more. So Landon Dickerson, you definitely want to check that out. First person there gets to ride in his truck. Anyway, Jerrell, we greatly appreciate you being with us, my friend. It's been too long. We got to, shorten the gaps. If you would, tell folks how they can find you, and then also tell them about your business and what you can do to help them out.
Man, thanks, guys. First off, thanks for having me. Greatly appreciate it. It's always a good time when I'm able to come on the show with you guys. You can find me on Facebook at Jerrell Harris, Twitter Jerrell Harris, Instagram the General DA General _Uno, and just some of the stuff that we got going on. Now I have a financial services business. So I'm working with not just athletes, but anybody that's looking to get help with their finances, right? So we're trying to bridge the gap and just make sure these guys are in good position, life out the ball, right? It's never a situation where we can know enough about how to manage our money and just understanding how money works. So if anybody is interested in learning anything about that, you can reach out to me on all those platforms as well.
Man, we greatly appreciate you, brother. It's always an honor to have you on, my friend. And we'll see you this weekend, right?
I'll be down there. I'm gonna be in the mix. I'm gonna pop up at the museum, show some of my guys some love and stuff. So you definitely will see me.
Well, come on up there, man. We got some space at the table. We'd love to have you jump on.
Absolutely.
I want to thank everyone.
Barbecue for Marvin this weekend too. Marvin, you gonna be on the grill? Oh, my bad.
Hey, Marvin, you know the hotel that they got us in.
Man, you missing we talk about that off air. We get
I ain't talking about that barbecue. I'm talking about another barbecue.
We'll talk about it off air. Can't be telling people we gonna be on the
barbecue behind the hotel just for us.
I ain't gonna tell nobody else, Marvin. I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
Hey, Marvin having the barbecue.
Hey, I do want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Extended time. We do it because we love you, the fans, and why you have subscribed to our channel. All 10,005 of you. Couldn't do it without each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who was in the live chat. Definitely thank you for the super chats. We couldn't do it without you. And we got a lot more coming your way. A-Day weekend. Be a part of it. Until you see you again, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.
Roll.